bitch off!
Hi, welcome to my review of Blade Runner 2049, directed by Denis Villeneuve, a film noir centered on an LAPD Blade Runner who's given the task of tracking down Rick Deckard, a former Blade Runner who has been linked to a possible evolutionary step in the dystopian world where humans and humanoids coexist. So Blade Runner 2049 is a sequel to the original Ridley Scott film that came out in 1982 starring Harrison Ford, a film that has like 7 different official studio cuts. Initially, the movie wasn't really all that well received given the number of edits that are available out there, but the official one is considered to be the one from 2007 titled The Final Cut, a version that I don't believe I've ever seen. The only version that I've seen is the director's cut that came out in 1992. At least I believe that's the one I saw. Albeit I liked what I saw, I just didn't really love it. That said, I do respect its influential power that it has had on a multitude of films and their filmmakers alike, such as Steven Spielberg's AI Artificial Intelligence, which I actually think is one of Steven Spielberg's best films, and even look at films such as Batman Begins, a film that did take some influences in terms of its aesthetics, and it even includes Rutger Hauer in the cast.
Rise, motherfucker!
You better get it up. I'm gonna have to kill you.
But even being somebody who's not the greatest die-hard Blade Runner fan, I was very much intrigued by its sequel going into it, given Denis Villeneuve's direction, who's directed such films as Enemy, Prisoner, Sicario, and last year's Arrival, which I must admit I wasn't that crazy about. But now we have Blade Runner 2049, a sequel that not only feels merited, but actually serves as a great continuation of the Blade Runner story and its iconic, impressively, and I do mean impressively, realized dystopian world. Blade Runner has always been known for its creative, memorable sets and production design, but this takes the foundation of what was laid back in the 1980s and creates something even more vivid, something that actually stands out in the entire genre or medium in general. This is a textbook example of how to use CGI in a way that is effective, in a way that actually does serve its story, in a way that actually does serve in its world building and fleshing it out. And the visual effects are actually used in creative ways as well. One set piece in particular, which is kind of light on visual effects but still using that, is a set piece featuring these 2 characters playing a game of cat and mouse with these projections just malfunctioning throughout all of it, and I absolutely love that scene. I think it's brilliant. Honestly, if nothing else, this film is a pure visual masterpiece, shot by one of the best cinematographers in the world, Roger Deakins. If you don't know who that is, look him up, look at some of the films that he's done, and you will definitely see why. And the movie does take its time, allowing the viewer to fully breathe in its rich, grotesquely beautiful, polluted neon world, complete with its number of city and landscape shots that are present in this neo-noir film. The only thing is, perhaps it takes its time a little too well.
This motherfucker's long.
As much as I love the overall experience, I did find the whole detective aspect, the whole thing with Ryan Gosling going from place to place, piecing clues together for the whereabouts of the Harrison Ford character and this potential evolutionary step, I found that to be the least exciting part of Blade Runner 2049, and that does take up the first 30 to 45 minutes of the film's 2-hour and 40-something minute runtime. It also doesn't help either that within the stretch of the film that there's a lot of soft-spoken dialogue, long pauses, a lot of white noise in the background. I was kind of fighting to stay fully alert. So with that said, I do think this is a movie that could have benefited if it maybe had trimmed 15 to 20 minutes off of the runtime. It's really when the movie transcends being a visual cocktail and starts focusing more on its themes of what is life, what are memories, and what do they mean to the individual, what is love, is when the movie does become that intelligent sci-fi film that a lot of people have been saying that this film is. Every day we are finding new ways to advance artificial life like never before, so what does that mean for us, and what does that mean for that artificial life when that artificial life doesn't seem so artificial? And like a lot of sci-fi out there, this is an exploration of that, but I feel like this is actually among the best ones to come out this decade easily. There's quite a bit of relevancy here. Also, all the performances are quite outstanding, especially Ryan Gosling's, who gives a performance that at first glance might come across as a little monotone, but it's a very intricate performance, especially in the way he uses his eyes, which I think are usually the best kinds of performances. It's a performance that has a lot of subtlety, but it is a great one. I also like the performance by Ana de Armas, who plays Ryan Gosling's AI girlfriend in the film, and I really like their scenes together. I found their relationship to be quite effective. And again, it does tie into that whole theme of what is love. And Jared Leto, albeit that he does come pretty close at redeeming himself from his performance in the Academy Award-winning film Suicide Squad, it's a good performance, even though he is still hamming it up, just not hamming it up as much.
Hunka hunka!
And in case you're wondering, Harrison Ford, he does give one of the best performances he's given in a while. Robin Wright's also really good, and Dave Bautista, who would have thought he'd be such a great actor. As for any last statements, I love the score by Hans Zimmer and Benjamin Wallfisch. In fact, when I was watching the film, I didn't even know who it was. I was sitting there thinking like, shit, whoever this person is, they're channeling Hans Zimmer like a motherfucker. Come to find out, it was him and his buddy Benjamin Wallfisch, who apparently has been doing every single score this year. Doing a great job, might I add. But yeah, I love it. It sounds a bit like a rave from hell. Overall, I do love Blade Runner 2049. This is actually a film that has grown on me within the time span of a week, and I'm sure that it will grow on me even more after seeing it a second time. So yeah, I'm going to give Blade Runner 2049 a pretty strong 4 out of 5. If you are somebody who has seen Blade Runner 2049, then do let me know your thoughts on it. And as always, I'm Colin Kirkland, and thank you so much for watching.